down. He's going to talk about why our job as Medicare agents is more important this AEP. Hopefully you just saw what John just shared. Probably some of the most important tips was just given by John for this AEP than any other AEP before, and how to leverage that knowledge into sales and getting hundreds and thousands of referrals. Let's welcome an up-and-coming legend in the business, has 84 MA sales so far as our top rookie agent. Let's give it up for Mr. Josh Shin. You there, Josh?
I'm here, Tony. Thank you for the intro there. Can you guys all hear me? Can you guys all hear me okay on your end?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about, is why our job, this specific open enrollment, is more important than literally any open enrollment before, at least from what I'm seeing in the field with all my sales and with the clients so far this year. So it's not a secret. There's a lot of advertising, and at least here in New Jersey, there is way more advertising this year than there's ever been in the past. And the thing about that advertising is a lot of those benefits that are advertised on the television and are advertised in the mail and all the advertising that those people get, most of those benefits, those people aren't eligible for. So at least here in New Jersey, they're running ads nonstop about the dual programs, and they're saying you're eligible for this with your Medicare and that with your Medicare, and all the benefits that they're mentioning for Medicare is actually Medicare and Medicaid benefits. So they're dual eligible benefits. In New Jersey, you cannot get a $300 per month card for your food and for your utilities and for your over-the-counter. You can't get $300 per month unless you are dual eligible. You have Medicare and Medicaid. New Jersey, we're a little bit higher, but you have to remember, as far as income goes, but you have to remember that the cost of living is a lot higher. So you have to make under about $1,000 a month in New Jersey. It's about $1,050 per month you have to make in order to get Medicare and Medicaid in New Jersey. However, they're advertising this to everyone, and they're not mentioning the Medicaid part on TV. They're mentioning the Medicare part. And that's just the start of it. There's all these benefits, and yes, some of those benefits are available on plans. Do you want to, and do you as a senior, do you want to enroll in some of these benefits that give you XYZ crazy benefit that sounds better than any other plan, and then cut all your medical benefits out on the other side in order to get that? Or do you want to have good coverage and maybe you don't get as much on your over-the-counter card, your flex benefit, or anything else? And I get really, really, really fired up about this, because a lot of these plans out there are almost like straight scams. They're almost like straight scams. And if you're not talking to somebody like me, they're just going to sell you all the highlights of the plan. And they're not going to tell you that you're going to get screwed when you go to the doctor. And sorry to, excuse my French or whatever, but I just get really fired up. And sometimes I get just as fired up with a client, because I really don't, I don't want to see somebody sign up for a plan that's, that offers all of these things only to, take it back some other way. For instance, in our market, all the give back plans with WellCare for 2023, they all pulled all of those plans. So all the plans with the give back with WellCare, either they got dropped completely for 2023, or they cut the give back out and they cut all the benefits out, because those plans lose money. So the way I explain it to a client is, look, there's not any secret Medicare deal out there. Every Medicare Advantage program, whether it's United Healthcare, Cigna, or Humana, or whatever other carrier you're looking at, they're all getting the exact same pot from Medicare. Now, out of the pot that they get, they have to spend 85% of that money back on member claims and benefits. And then there's a 15% margin that they have there to basically pay agents, pay overhead, pay everything else, business expenses. There's not a huge margin on Medicare Advantage plans. And with that being said, these plans, if they are offering a crazy benefit, they're either losing money on the plan. That plan is not going to be here next year, at least in the current form, or number two, they're going to drop that plan. I'm going to have to be here next year. And I'm very, very, very straight up with my clients. I literally tell them how I get paid. I tell every single client the way I'm paid is a monthly commission. It's the same commission whether I put you in United Healthcare or Cigna or Humana or WellCare or any other plan across the board. Medicare dictates that monthly amount, and that doesn't change from carrier to carrier. And I tell them what I'm worried about is number one, I don't need you to drop your plan in January when you have another enrollment period and sign up for another plan. I lose you as a client. It wasn't worth it for me to come and sit down at your house and talk to you about a Medicare plan if it's not going to be something that works for you and it's not, you're going to drop it in January. Or even if you keep it the whole year and you drop it next AEP, it's not worth my time to meet with you and talk to you about your Medicare. I want to put you in a plan that you're going to like. And the only time I have to change that plan again is if that carrier or that plan, there might be a better option in the future where I may reach out to you, but I want to put you in a stable coverage that's not going to change year to year. I don't want to give you some kind of crazy benefit only to be here for a year, or that you're going to have issues with outside of that benefit on the medical side of things, because that's really the most important thing when it comes to your healthcare is your medical coverage. It's not you get an extra $20 a quarter or $50 a quarter, you get a little bit of money back in your Social Security check. That's not important if you have a medical issue. That's not. So yeah, there's all these flashy benefits. I don't think anybody should be selling on that. I think you should be selling on stability. I think you should be selling on doing what's best for the client. For instance, I had a lady, I went to her house yesterday. When I know it's going to be a long appointment, I'll do it on Sunday or Saturday because I just knew this lady was going to take a lot of time. I'm the third broker going to her house and she's looking at, 50 different plans, or not literally, but she's looking at every other, every plan in the state of New Jersey. And I'm the third broker going to her house. And she's looking at this plan and that plan. This one gives her money back and this one's zero premium. And why did I sell her a plan? And actually, she's going to be paying a monthly premium. She's going to be paying $35 a month to be on that plan. Why did I leave the house with an application for $35 per month when she could have signed up with the last two guys for either money back or $0 premium? Well, at the end of the day, you have to look a little bit deeper at a lot of these plans. You have to do what's best for your client. And if you can explain that I don't have a financial incentive to sell you one plan over the other. It's at the end of the day, I'm going to make the same amount, whether I give you your money back in a Social Security check or I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. And I explain that to people. It's going to be the same thing either way, but my financial incentive comes from keeping you as a customer. And I know I'm not going to keep you as a customer in that plan that's giving you money back every month. I don't tell this part to the clients, but the specific plan that's giving people money back in their Social Security check, I've already heard through the grapevine from other people in the industry, that plan, there's one of two things that's happening for 2024 with that plan. That they're either taking back the Part B give back and they're cutting the benefits out of the plan, or number two, they're going to have to drop the plan altogether. So I already know on my side of things, that plan's going away. Why would I ever enroll someone in that plan? I'm just going to have to go to her house next year and sign her up for the plan I signed her up for this year or another plan, if that kind of makes sense. So I really think that we need to step back. We need to, number one, the first thing we need to be doing when we go to a house is we need to be straight up. You pull the curtain back. That's what I call you. I tell every person I'm in their house, look, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the inside scoop with Medicare Advantage. All the stuff that you see on TV, there's a way that they're making their money, and it's either they're cutting stuff out of another area of the plan, they're losing money, it's going to be gone next year. That's pulling the curtain back, and I tell them that we're making the same amount of money, at least on the broker side, whatever plan I do, and I tell them this is, we're going to do what's best for you, rather than put you in what I call a 1-year plan, only to have to switch it later on. So one of the things that lady asked me in the appointment, which I thought was interesting, or kind of a good way to think about it, which I've never, really thought about this.
How can you be helped?
Sure. I'm sorry, Tony.
Hi, Kathleen. Yes, I'm here.
Hey, John Speck, can you please put your phone on mute? Sorry about that interruption, John.
Oh, no worries. So one of the things that she had mentioned in the appointment, which I don't really think about because my mother is 58 years old, so she's not on Medicare yet. She's not Medicare eligible, but this lady, particularly yesterday, she said, well, I have a question for you. You look younger and you look like you could be my son. And I'm assuming your mom has Medicare, and what Medicare plan does your mother have? And I said, well, my mother's 58 and she's not on Medicare yet, but the plan I'm presenting to you right now, there's two on the sheet. And I said 100% she would be on one of these two plans. And the reason she would be on 100, and on one of these two plans is all the stuff that I've explained to you before. There's a lot of gimmicky stuff with Medicare coverage, and it really gets me fired up because it's almost like a lot of these, and I didn't say this part that a lot of them are scammy, but it's almost like a lot of these plans out there are scammy. They're, I've been seeing it every year that they offer one thing. It's like a cable bill or something. They offer you one thing for a year, and they pull that benefit back the next year. They cancel the plan next year. We have one carrier that dropped all their plans in New Jersey for 2023, and another carrier that dropped about half of their plans for 2023. It happens every year. Had I enrolled them in one of those plans, now I got to go back to their house and I got to, re-sign them up for something else. I don't want to take, I don't want that, I don't want that hassle. I don't want a call, but I basically just told her, like, this is the plan. It's a stable plan. It's not flashy. It's not a flashy plan like maybe you see from other carriers, but I know, number one, it's a stable plan. It's not really going to change from year to year. It's pretty much the plan for 2024 will be the plan for 2023. Not a lot will change. I don't get a lot of issues with it. And if I do get an issue with that specific plan, I have a very well-defined channel where I can get that resolved for you. I don't have that with most other carriers where I have it on this side of things. And it's just about stability and putting somebody in the plan that's best for you. But I think that's really a good way to think. I treat every client that way, like you're my mother or your grandmother, and I put them in what's best for them. I don't care if there's a stupid, marketing dollar here or co-op here, or, oh, this carrier is going to give me money here. Because long-term, that's not how you're going to grow a book. You're not going to grow a book by keeping somebody in a plan and then switching it every year, because eventually you're not going to get a hold of that client one AEP. Eventually that client's going to sign up somewhere else. So the reason I think not to go on like a huge tangent, but the reason I think we're more important than ever before as a Medicare agent is we need to be able to explain to the clients what's going on with Medicare. What we need to be able to explain, what is all that stuff that you see on TV? Most of it is subsidies that they can apply for. And if you're eligible for the subsidy, I will sit there and I will fill out the paperwork for you to get the subsidy, and I will help you get the subsidy. But if you're not eligible for the subsidy, they need to know that, and they need to know that there's not a secret Medicare deal. If they keep calling 10 different brokers, that eventually somebody's going to give them the secret Medicare deal that they didn't hear from the last three people. So our job is just very important to be able to explain that kind of things, that there is a lot of marketing, and explain what's being advertised on TV, what those benefits are, how you get them. And in a lot of cases, even if you can get them, you really don't want them. Like, for instance, transportation in New Jersey, it may be different in your state, it's different state to state. But in New Jersey, you do not want a plan that has transportation on it. There's not a single plan that offers transportation in New Jersey that I feel comfortable putting somebody on that plan. I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't want my name on it, because if there's a complaint, whose name is attached to that enrollment? It's my name attached to that enrollment if there's a complaint. And I don't want that. And there's plans that people are really, they want this benefit that's on TV. And I literally have told people this open enrollment, I will give you an agent's name who will enroll you in that plan, but I will not personally enroll you in the plan, because I will not have my name attached to that plan. And guess what happens after you tell them that? They sign up with you. So I just think we need to pull back the curtain. We need to explain what these things are on TV, explain that a lot of these things are scammy. And that's where we are so important, where in a lot of past years, there hasn't been this much advertising and this much misinformation about what's available to seniors. It's really confusing for them, and we need to be able to explain, what these benefits are, why they're confusing, and also if they're eligible for it through a subsidy, we need to help them apply for it. So that's my kind of little tangent. I rabbit trailed a little bit, but that's, kind of what I have is we're of a lot more importance this year if we're able to explain those things to the client.
You know what, Josh, you did a great job explaining why it's important than ever this year to be on your game with AEP. Like you said, there's a lot of scams out there, misinformation. They're in a whirlwind. And you made a very valid point, being a quality agent, not just somebody that's transactional, pushing an app and move on. You really are being transparent. You're being sincere with your client, I can see, and they connect with you. And I think that's a big point. Everyone should note, if you're going to get heart surgery, do you want to do your heart surgery with someone you don't know that's from some call center in California? I'm here in New Jersey. You would want your surgeon here in New Jersey, hands-on right there that you can meet, talk to, feel, and touch. Now, even if you're working in a call center, you still can build that kind of trust and relationship, but it's got to be a personal relationship, as Josh. He builds their trust by being honest with them and helping them through the process, but being knowledgeable about the mess of Medicare. There used to be a commercial by United, if you guys recall, about the lady mowing down that maze. It was like one of those brush mazes. And they had a couple that was at the beginning of the maze. She goes, I'm here to make it easier for you. Let me mow it down for you to get to the point. And that's what Josh is doing. He's getting his clients through the maze, and someone that's a transactional agent, all they're concerned about is getting them into the plan, regardless of the impact, regardless of what changes next year. They're just looking out for their commission, getting the money, and moving on. I used to call, like I told you on one meeting, they're called hit and run agents. Josh is going to be a hands-on agent. He's going to be there with them thick and thin from the beginning to the end. So great job, Josh. So I have a question for you to lead off the. Are you ready for questions?
Yeah, so there was one other thing I wanted to show, but I can show that in a little bit. It doesn't really pertain.
No, go ahead. Go for it, Josh. Go ahead.
Okay, this is kind of like a quick side tangent. I just wanted to bring this up as like a little tip, but it doesn't really have to do with what I talked about. So Saturday night, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I got somebody signed up for a plan, and I never spoke to this client once. I didn't, never had a conversation with them. Never spoke on the phone. The only communication was I texted them and I said, hey, I just sent your email signature for your application. So how did that happen? So when I do a presentation, if you guys are doing presentations or seminars or things of that sort, there's a sheet. I'll try to share my. Oh, can you enable my screen sharing on here?
John, can you take care of that, please?
1 second. Okay, you should be able to go for it.
Can you guys see that, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. So when I do a presentation, when I do a Medicare presentation, I'll have, anywhere from 15 to 30 people in the room that I'm giving a presentation to. There's no way possible for me to handle. I have another agent who helps me with those meetings, but even with two of us, there's no way possible for me. If you want to enroll in the plan, there's no way for me possible to enroll everybody who wants to enroll in the plan that day. Sometimes people just do not want to wait. You do have people, they just sit there and they'll wait for you to enroll them, but that's not everyone. A lot of people just walk out the door. And this is something that I bring a different version of this basically to home appointments for the same thing. If I leave without an application, I've been lucky enough. I haven't left a single house yet this AEP without taking an application. So I haven't had to leave at somebody's house, but this is what everyone at the presentation, they get this sheet right here. And it's basically your enrollment next steps. And at the bottom, it's got a QR code as well. It's got my number and the other agent's number. Or you can go to the website, you can fill the form out. So it's a form you fill out. It's everything I need to enroll you in a plan. So somebody who went to one of my presentations last week, I guess Saturday night at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, decided I do want to enroll in that plan that he was talking about at the meeting, went to the website, filled the form out. I filled an application out, just emailed it emailed it over to her. The only thing I did was say, hey, this is Josh. I just want to let you know, I just sent your application over to your email. It should be in there. That was the only communication I have with the client. Didn't speak to her at the presentation. Maybe she asked a question at the presentation. A lot of people ask questions, but no, I don't even know what this lady looks like. She signed up. So I think that's just a completely side tangent that I just wanted to show. And that she's not the only one that's been the situation with this AEP. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you're doing presentations, try to do something like this because you'll get extra enrollments that way. Or if you're doing home appointments and they're not closing, leave that with them. You don't know if December 7th rolls around and last minute they need to enroll in a plan. They say, well, the easiest thing to do, because I didn't enroll yet, is to scan the code on this piece of paper and sign up for that plan, because it seems like the easiest option rather than calling the guy or calling one of these brokers I've talking to. So I just want to throw that out there. That was just like a side thing I wanted to include on there, but that's pretty much it. But I'm ready for questions now.
Josh, that was brilliant. Love it, man. I mean, that's one thing I love about the millennials and guys in your age bracket, just the technology and the skill sets you guys have. That's brilliant. Love the idea. So another quick question, and I'm going to open up the floor to the other team. Advice to people that are new to this, or those, Josh, that are struggling. I mean, you got more sales than some entire agencies have by yourself. And
Right.
I know it's obviously you can sell, you're knowledgeable, but what advice would you give them now? We're over 2 weeks in the AEP. I think we're down to 45 days left. How would you recommend to the newbies or those that are out there that are having challenges these next 45 days, what they should be doing?
Sure. So I sent an email out to my team last night, and this is my advice. Anybody who's struggling, a lot of people, they try to sell over the phone or they try to explain a lot over the phone. And just doing some thinking over the weekend, one of the things I realized when I first started selling Medicare was somebody told me, they said, just get your butt in their house. Don't try to explain a lot. And I didn't know anything about Medicare when I first started. I basically didn't even know like A and B. I didn't know literally anything about Medicare. They just said, get your butt in their house. And then they said, this is the person who helped train me. They said, then I'll go with you and I'll teach you how to sell and yada, yada. Just make the appointment and get yourself to their house. So that's how I started. I was just setting appointments to go to people's houses, and then she would come with me and help me close the people. But that, until COVID hit, that pretty much was my philosophy. Even being a top producer, was I hardly explain. I really try my best to not explain anything over the phone, not talk about any plan benefits, not talk about anything until I'm at your house. When I'm calling you, I'm an appointment setter, because once you can get to their house, you can display an expert status. And it's not that hard with Medicare to display an expert status. You really just need to, at the beginning of the conversation, after you say, oh, I like your, you got a bird feeder there, whatever, that's what the lady had yesterday. Make some stupid small talk. And then you need to make yourself the expert. And it's really, really easy to do that. You can throw out, oh, next year, by the way, that 170 you're paying next year, that's going to be 164.90. Or by the way, you have a supplement plan G, that deductible is going to 226 next year. Oh, did you hear about the raise in Social Security? It's 8.7%. Just really basic Medicare things that they don't know. And the more you can dedicate to learning about Medicare, the more stuff like that you're just going to naturally throw out in conversation. The more the more knowledge that you have just naturally as you're talking to someone about their Medicare, those little pieces of information that nobody else knows, that's going to come out in conversation, and all of a sudden you're the expert. Now you bring up the advertising and you say, look, I know there's a lot of advertising and a lot of benefits on TV, and let me just give you the kind of the inside scoop about what that is with all these. Now, a lot of those benefits, like the food card, that's going to be if you have Medicare and Medicaid. Now, in New Jersey, Medicaid, you have to make under about $1,050 a month. Are you eligible for, are you within there? They're not. If they are, I had a lady last week, I applied her for Medicaid. I actually drove, not to get on a huge side tangent again, but I actually drove 2 hours out of my way to go to this lady's house and apply her for Medicaid. And the reason I did that was she was yelling at me over the phone. She was not nice to me. She was very rude to me. And she was telling me, well, everyone's telling me I get this food card and this and that. You're not telling me any of that. And I said, look, most of that is a scam because most people aren't eligible for it, their income, but what's your income? And it was $911 a month. I said, okay, I'm going to come out to your house tomorrow and I'm going to fill out the paperwork for Medicaid. I'm going to get you on the state Medicaid because that's the only way you can get that food card. And nobody in those call centers from TV, nobody that you're calling is going to take the time to sit down with you and apply you for Medicaid. But I'm going to do it because I don't want them to just scam you in a call center and tell you that you're getting one thing and sign you up. So this lady, she was 93 years old. And I just felt bad because I knew nobody would spend the time to actually sit down and apply her for Medicaid. And, she's calling all these numbers off TV and I was worried about her. So I drove literally 2 hours away from my house and signed her up, probably lost 4 other enrollments by doing that. But I did that for her. But long story short, when you go to the appointment, you need to explain that what this stuff on TV is, what the benefits are. As soon as you do that, you should have a pretty good, expert opinion on, you should be viewed as an expert in the consumer's eyes. And then
Right.
it's going over some quick questions about their medical needs, their current plan and how that's working for them, and then helping them find an option that's going to be best. But I think the most important thing, if you're churning your reels discussing plan benefits over the phone, or giving out way too much information on the phone, all of a sudden you're the customer service call center that they called rather than the agent that's going to sell them the plan. You like, if you're struggling, you need to get yourself in that person's house. You need to say less and get to their house, and that's how you need to, that's how you need to do things. But hopefully that answers it.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. John, I know we had a couple questions in the chat. Can you share those? Great job, Josh. You're doing awesome, man. Appreciate it. Good stuff. John?
I'm looking, I'm not seeing a lot of questions. It's mostly feedback. I do see one. It says, is that in the sheet that you had, is that used for educational events or actual plan presentations?
These are plan presentations. So I know a lot of people do educational events because you can do more in the terms of like food, and you can do more as far as that side of things go. Just personally, I prefer to do a plan presentation. There's really one plan that I've sold pretty much every single person this entire AEP. And I personally feel like for most people, it's the best option for them. It's a stable company. It's a stable plan. It's a good plan. It may not be as flashy as everything else, but it's a good, solid plan for everyone. So I prefer to do the plan presentations because things like this will happen where you can give them this form and they can fill it out and you never talk to the client and you have them signed up. So I like to do plan presentations. We use basically a booklet that goes through common questions about the Medicare program. It answers a lot of things. And throughout that presentation, I sprinkle in different things that people just don't know about Medicare, different things that I get questions about every day. I try to answer in that presentation every question I get on a daily basis. And then I basically tell everyone at the beginning, if you have a question, pop your hand up because somebody else has the same question and it'll help everybody learn. And it becomes, after the first person pops their hand up, it ends up turning into more of an open forum where people are asking all types of questions. And by the end, it's like every possible question that a senior could think of was answered within an hour. And then after I go through the booklet, I quickly go over the plan and the highlights of the plan and the ins and outs of how that specific plan works. So that's how I run a presentation. I prefer to do a plan specific presentation with the best option for most people rather than have to do home appointments or have to do appointments after the fact to go over probably the same plan that I'm going to end up signing them up for anyway.
Great job. John, other questions?
The only other question is someone asked if they can get a copy of it.
Yeah, I can send a copy of it.
Are you able to chat that in? Chat it to the group.
I mean, it's a file, so I don't know if I can actually chat it to the group, but I'll just chat my email and I'll send it over. I have another one too, so I'll show you guys this one if I'm able to. Oh, let me stop share. I have this one as well. So this is the oh, that's really big. Let me see if I can. Oh crap. Hold on one sec. Sorry guys, hold on one sec.
John, in the meantime, are there other questions we can handle while he pulls that up?
That was the only question.
Okay. And what is this last one, Josh?
Yeah, this is the other one. So in New Jersey, our state pharmaceutical assistance program, it's called the PAD program. Luckily for us, our income limits are pretty high compared to like LIS. So in New Jersey, if you're single, you can get onto PAD at $38,769 a year. Or if you're married, you can make $45,270. And I would say about 50% of the seniors that I talk to are eligible for the PAD program. They just don't know that they're eligible for it because they think I make too much money. Most people who make 38,000 or 45,000, they think there's not a subsidy for me. That's for people who make $1,000 a month or something. No, in New Jersey, we have a pretty high subsidy limit. So I have this one as well because it takes me about 10 minutes to enroll someone for this PAD program. And with that 10 minutes, number one, I can get them one of the LIS plans, which is, going to obviously be a better fit for them as a client. I can help them out if they have expensive prescriptions. But number three, not to be selfish, but if I'm signing you up for this subsidy program and no one's ever told you about that you're eligible for it, and I take the time to actually fill out the paperwork and apply you for it, are you ever going to leave me as a client? No, probably not, at least as long as I stay in contact with you and, I do my part on everything else, but you're probably not going to leave me as a client. I'll take an extra 10 minutes to enroll you for the PAD program, but that's the other one that I wanted to show. So I have
Good. Thank you, Josh. I know we're well at top of the hour, and I want to thank you again, sir. And I know you shared your email address, so I appreciate you willing to share some amazing nuggets to our family and to our team. You've been a great asset, and I know the best is yet to come. Josh, just keep up what you've been doing, big guy. 26 years old, and you've come a long way in a short period of time, young man. I have no doubt you're going to finish the year strong and finish number one overall. I believe it. So keep it up. John, can we go to the next slide? Can you guys give Josh a hand, please, real quick? And a woohoo.
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo.
Yeah, good job, Josh. You're the man. Keep it up. Keep it up, bud. Thank you. I like the back screen too, man. Now and then you lose your left arm.
Yeah, I gotta move back and forth. But yeah.
It disappears. It's like a Halloween trick or something. Now and then you got one arm. All right. So guys, we're going to wrap the meeting up. I want to thank you guys for joining today's meeting. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate reaching out to your uplines, your BSRs. I know we sound like a broken record, guys, but this is not rocket science. Josh just showed you a unique way that works for him. And really, it's about activity. As we've said, 1,000 times, it's all about the activity. Got to see the people. There's no secret sauce. Josh is smart. He knows his stuff. He knows what's going on in this unique market, which is New Jersey. He knows everything about the plans and what's the best plan to present to his clients. And he's just seeing the people. I mean, this business is not, you're not gonna be successful by osmosis. You have to go make contact with the clients, whether it's over the phone in the call center with John and his team, the virtual center, or you have to go out and see those people. But John just shared with you earlier, John Gordine shared some amazing nuggets. That would be the main thing of my conversation, going along with what Josh shared. I'd be hitting at home those seniors about what's going on in the news, what's going on in the misinformation about Medicare, and this new information for 23 they must be aware of. It's important. It's 15 minutes of their time to meet with you important? Absolutely. If they're going to learn about upcoming changes, what they're losing, what they're gaining, you need to know this. That would be the opening of every single call I make with these seniors, regardless of, if they're satisfied or not. How do they know if they're satisfied? They don't even know the changes. What if they're in a plan that it's not the best plan for them? What if they're in a stuff they can't afford? What if they're still in original Medicare? You wouldn't believe how many people are still in original Medicare. And what you learned today from John Gordine and Josh Shin, I mean, gosh, that's enough right there to get you into way more houses than you did before this call. So I want to thank you guys. Remember why we're in this business is to go out there and with all the misinformation and all those crazy commercials, go out there and do good for these seniors. Go out there and change and save lives. We thank you guys. Have a wonderful holiday with Halloween. Happy Halloween. And John, I'm sure you'll close out with a Thriller song. Go ahead. Thank you guys. No, thank you. Great meeting, Josh. Thank you guys. Thank you, John. Thank you, team.